You're listening to DraftKings Network.
At BlueNile.com, you can find endless ways to make your moments sparkle. From classic and timeless jewelry gifts to creating the custom engagement ring of her dreams, all at prices you won't find at a traditional jeweler. And right now, you can save up to 40% on fine jewelry and 25% on engagement ring settings during the Blue Nile Anniversary Sale, going on now. Go to BlueNile.com to shop the Blue Nile Anniversary Sale and save up to 40%. That's BlueNile.com.
This episode is brought to you by Experian. Are you paying for subscriptions you don't use but can't find the time or energy to cancel them? Experian could cancel unwanted subscriptions for you, saving you an average of $270 per year and plenty of time. Download the Experian app. Results will vary. Not all subscriptions are eligible. Savings are not guaranteed. Paid membership with connected payment account required.
Welcome to the Big Suey, presented by DraftKings.
Why are you listening to this show?
The podcast that seems very similar to the other Dan Le Batard podcast.
I'm sorry, I'm not going to apologize for that.
In fact, the only difference seems to be this imaging.
I have been tempted in restaurants just walking past tables to grab somebody's fries that if they're just there. That hasn't happened to you guys?
I've done it.
And now, here's the marching man to nowhere, Fat Face, and the habitual liar.
All right. Let's go to our guest line where we have David Samson, nothing personal with David Samson, and Adnan Virk of MLB Network and Cinephile. And gentlemen, I want to start with just this question. Have you guys heard of, what are they called? Big Justice?
AJ and Big Justice.
AJ and Big Justice.
Yes. We're excited.
Sadly, I'm unaware of AJ and Big Justice, unless that's the new nicknames of Juan Soto and Aaron Judge. David?
We're excited to have Adnan and David. Friendly reminder to our audience, this segment is presented by LinkedIn Jobs. Really excited to have them aboard and Adnan and Samson aboard.
That would be a good nickname for Juan Soto and Aaron Judge.
David,
AJ and Big Justice.
Are you familiar with AJ and Big Justice?
Can we start with
I'm despondent to tell you that in my demographic currently where I sit, I've not heard those names, and I feel like this could just be a tiny little setup.
It's not. It's real. Like, they showed the video on the screen for us here in the studio. I don't know this either. It's not my demographic either, but apparently it's a big deal. And David, I want to start there just by asking you, in the modern sports business space, where do these kind of internet celebrity influencers fit in? Is this something that teams should or do utilize as far as bringing them in for marketing, or is this just a waste of money?
Well, I sure as heck fire wouldn't do it on camp day. I can tell you that. So if you know, you know. And I would say that we're always looking to be cooler than we are. And that's not just running a baseball team. That's doing anything. You're always trying to be who you're not. I think the most successful people in business understand exactly who they are, what product they're selling, and who they're selling it to. And until you know that, you can't really start a business or run a business. But when you're doing a baseball team trying to entertain, you're trying to entertain old school baseball people and get them to bring their kids and grandkids who may want to see, Haley Welch. So it's a difficult line to walk.
David's right, but then there's moments like at the Mets where they have Hawk Tua throwing up the first pitch, and you're like, who the hell is Hawk Tua? What is she?
Adnan,
you know who Hawk Tua is.
I mean,
Cody, I'm just saying the majority of baseball fans, I clearly know, as Roy Wood knew on your show. But I just sometimes, David's right. You think outside the box, and then you wind up with Hawk Tua. Not sure if that's the best look for the Mets.
Well, speaking of thinking outside the box, I, over the weekend, went to the cinemas, and I saw Alien Romulus, and I was really impressed with this film. Only an $80 million budget made that back and more in the first weekend. I think since it places itself on the Alien timeline between Alien and Aliens, and Mean, cover your ears because you're going to take issue with this, I think the Alien franchise, those three films, Alien, Alien Romulus, and Aliens, that is now the cream of the crop when it comes to sci-fi trilogies. It was, I know you're a Star Wars guy, I don't mean any disrespect, but I thought this was a marvel in movie making, practical effects, practical makeup, practical set design. I loved it. It was refreshing to see movies made like this again. I don't know if either of you had the opportunity to see Alien Romulus, but I'm curious your thoughts on that take that if it is what the reviews say it is and what I'm telling you it is, where do you rank this franchise in terms of all-time great trilogies, both in sci-fi and just generally? It's fantastic.
Haven't seen the latest one, Mike, but I'll say this to your point. When people point at generally sequels are wasteful and unnecessary and redundant, I look at Aliens. Like, if you look at the Ridley Scott, James Cameron 1, 2, like those are two premier directors who had two excellent sci-fi films with Alien and Aliens. It's the rare time that you could argue the sequel is better than the original. I haven't seen Alien Romulus. That sounds like blasphemy to say it's better than the Star Wars trilogy. Amin's going to fight you. David, floor is yours.
So as you know, Mike, we've been doing this a long time. You know the odds of me having seen any of those three movies is very small. I haven't seen any of them. I'm too scared.
Wait.
I thought they were horror movies, not sci-fi movies.
You've never seen Aliens?
No.
So there are.
We talking about the Sigourney Weaver movie?
Yeah, which is probably
scary.
Ripley is one of the greatest heroes in the history of cinema. Certainly one of the strongest women characters. James Cameron's actually done a really good job with really strong women characters in his films.
Linda Hamilton.
Yeah, but I think that you have to see this. I mean, these are great filmmakers that we're talking about, Ridley Scott, James Cameron. And while there are elements that are jump scares, it's really far beyond that. These are really masterful achievements in movie making, and you're missing out by not watching any of these films.
This is my pushback, gentlemen, to what Mike said, beyond me being a big Star Wars fan. Like you said, this is a great trilogy. I'm sorry. They made a shit ton of Alien movies.
Yeah.
Those Alien 3, that was trash.
Alien 3 was terrible.
Alien 3 awful.
Yeah, which is why I gave it that qualifier. If you're adhering to the timeline that it establishes, that the events of this film take place between Alien and Aliens, then you take David Fincher's, and I love David Fincher. It was a misfire. I know he was kind of brought in late to save that movie. Alien 3, terrible film. I'm not arguing the merits of Alien 3. It was a really bad movie, but it made me. I revisited the franchise in anticipation for Alien Romulus, and I dug deep. Did you know that Jesus was originally canon in the Alien franchise?
That's how they made him canon, huh?
In the original script of Prometheus, the engineers argued that they sent Jesus and they had to destroy humanity because of what they did to Jesus. They tested it, and
Do you mean the actual Jesus?
The actual Jesus was a part of the Alien kind of franchise.
Never heard that one.
And the reason why they're aliens in the first place that are just sent to destroy humans is because of what happened to Jesus, but they took that part of the original script out. New Rockstars as a whole, like, I was watching this thing for 35 minutes explaining the whole Alien lore. But I love this franchise. I revisited these films. They hold up. And what I loved about Alien Romulus, though, there have been a bunch of technical advancements, right? If you watch Alien and Aliens, you wonder, why are all these buttons? Why is everything analog? Why is there everything standard def? Surely if they make a new Alien, they'd fix that. No, they honor the legacy of the original films. All the technology is that of the original Alien world, which I loved.
It's always fascinating, too, to Mike's point, stuff that's taken out. He mentions the fact Jesus could have been in there. At one point, Ripley was going to hold up a sign that said John 3:16. They took that out as well.
With the rainbow wig? Now we're aging ourselves, aren't we?
Kids don't get that reference.
Boom! But what I would say is I highly endorse Alien Romulus. It's a great achievement in technical movie making, and I think more films, especially in sci-fi, there have been these wonderful stories in lower budget sci-fi movies. Godzilla, the most recent Godzilla movie that won an Academy Award for the visual effects, only famously had a $15 million budget. There are a lot of filmmakers that realize I can really make a great science fiction movie, and typically that's a genre that leans on visual effects and has an immense visual effects budget. These have really stripped it down and gone to practicality, and I think it's really benefited the genre, and I hope for more of it.
I think you're bugging.
Okay.
Because people want to see crazy lasers destroying things.
That stuff doesn't stick out. It's just all like... It's like the Avengers movies. Why is everything purple? Like, it's just, why is everything in post? Because they want to be able to fix everything afterwards. They don't want to actually build these sets and realize this didn't come out the way that we wanted it. Take the chance. Bank on the director. Practicality, it goes a long way and really makes the entire movie here with Alien Romulus. That, and it's just a really good movie, suspenseful, kind of a throwback to what Alien used to be, which really honors the scares and some of the horror elements that probably David shies away from. That's probably a little too much on Alien. I know you're here for a top five. As our time-honored tradition, we begin with Adnan, and we leave David 30 seconds, right? At the end, that's how we do it?
Excellent.
I nailed it. Adnan,
David, you go ahead. You take the ball and run with it. I'll finish.
David, what is your top five? Explain to the audience what we're doing here.
Well, today is Kobe Bryant's birthday. And so we wanted to honor Kobe Bryant by doing our top 5 basketball movies. And we left it open to you to decide what is the definition of a basketball movie. And I will start my list with something that you'll be upset with, but I associate number 5, Father of the Bride, as one of my best basketball movies.
You know what? I'll allow it. I'll allow it. Good job, David.
There you go, David.
That's a very strong one out of the gate. That's excellent.
Inspired.
Martin Short, Frank.
I have always dreamt of having a basketball game with my daughter the way that Steve Martin did with Kimberly Williams Paisley, and it just has never been meant to be. Number 4, Hoop Dreams.
Yeah.
It is not found behind the counter in the dark. Hoop Dreams is a movie actually about 2 young basketball players from the inner city following their career, the assumption that they would make it. They don't quite make it. It is a phenomenal documentary, maybe the best basketball documentary ever made.
One of the greatest sports documentaries ever. Not a movie. I don't feel like documentaries count because this is real life, and movies are kind of like telling
There are ways to make documentaries cinematic. When We Were Kings was a film, I think.
Not a
in
movie.
every sense of the word, even though it documented something, I felt like a actual cinematic experience. David, do you disagree?
No, I completely agree. But I mean, documentaries are movies. They're a subset of movies. Horrors are a subset. They're a genre of movies. Docs are a genre of film.
Yeah, but there are also ways that you can present a documentary that's a little bit more cinematic than most. Like not having someone speak directly to camera as I'm speaking to you right now and essentially break the fourth wall. Like there are just narrative-built documentaries that go start to finish without anyone ever speaking directly to camera, and that's more cinematic.
I think it's irresponsible to have a top 5 basketball list and not have Hoop Dreams on it, Adnan. I don't know what your list is, but I can tell you that if it doesn't have Hoop Dreams, I will be shocked.
That's a good guess. I love Hoop Dreams. I'm going to save my Hoop Dream comments for my list. Go ahead.
Number 3, White Men Can't Jump. It made it okay to talk about white men and black men and look at Wesley Snipes, my favorite Marcus Johnson, who was a Milwaukee Buck. If you remember that movie, if anyone remembers Marcus Johnson, who was a great player, he was an actor in this movie. Rosie Perez, who's in my favorite movie of all time called Fearless, but what a job that she did. And you looked at what Woody Harrelson did with Wesley Snipes, and you said, I dream of doing that, but it doesn't work in real life. That's White Men Can't Jump.
Did you ever see the
Don't watch
remake?
the sequel.
All right, the remake.
Do not watch the remake. It was so bad. It was the worst I've ever seen. Number 2, it's a movie called Forget Paris.
Oh,
great film.
Incredible pick. I mean, this is terrible.
What? No, stop it.
And then
Get out of here.
I would legitimately think about kicking him out of the Zoom. Forget Paris is
That's a great movie.
well deserving of this list and one of the
It's a
greatest
great
romantic
movie.
comedies ever made. You stop it right now. You stop it.
Adnan, you're just doing that for clickbait, and that's fine. But little thing you may not have known is that in my career, when I wasn't able to grow taller, I wanted to be an NBA referee. That was my dream when I knew I wouldn't be in the NBA. And after that movie, I actually thought about going to referee school. Something I still think about to this day.
Really, Crystal's life seemed that appealing to you?
There's something about being an NBA referee that just made me. I wanted to be Earl Strom. I wanted to be Daryl Garrettson. I wanted to be. Anyway, it's all good. Number 1. This is a runaway number 1. I assume it's number 1 with Adnan. The greatest basketball movie ever made, Fast Break. Wow. Fast Break with Gabe Kaplan. Welcome back, Cotter. Bernard King. Fast Break was doing gender issues back when gender issues were not something that you could do. Fast Break is a movie that will it
So
has
is Shawana,
drugs,
man.
it has sex, it has basketball, it has all the things you could want in a movie.
That's That's a staggering number 1. Look at that is a tepid reaction from the audience. David, you were doing so well. It was a list very personal to you, which I appreciate, very amusing. But Fast Break at 1, that's egregious.
It can't be that you feel that way, because I think that if we weren't on the show, you would tell me that Fast Break is your favorite basketball movie of all time. You have to say it.
Well, listen, I appreciate that your list is very personal to you. Number 5, and I appreciate that you said basketball movie is a broad term. Cable Guys at number 5.
Both of you guys went a little nutty with your 5th overall.
How great is that scene? Jim Carrey's the headband, the gap in the tube.
The suicides. And then the suicides as it gets shorter and shorter.
Yeah. What were they playing? Were they playing "Hey Man, Nice Shot" during that scene?
You know,
that's right. Filter, great song.
We know who had a cameo in that
Jack
scene?
Black.
Jack Black.
Well, it wasn't a cameo. He actually had a role, but there was smaller, Paul Rudd. Wasn't Paul Rudd?
Paul Rudd.
No, Owen Wilson. Owen Wilson was a dude that was beat up in the bathroom. There was a lot of Judd Apatow universe characters there.
Cable Guy at 5. Number 4, this one's for Cody. Along Came Polly.
Hell yeah.
Make it rain.
Great. You're doing a greatest basketball scenes top 5 right now. I'm down with it.
Number 3, I am going to go with White Man Can't Jump. And I agree with Samson. Again, please avoid the reboot, remake. Horrific. Number 2, Amin's going to be offended. Hoop Dreams.
I'm not offended. I just think it's unfair.
Arthur Agee, William Gates, inspiring story. I mean, people had not seen a story like this before, right? Inner city life in Chicago, the bleakness, the sadness, the tragedy, and yet the hope and inspiration. A remarkable film. There's no question about it. And number 1, surprised it wasn't on David's list, but I'm kind of thrilled neither of us mentioned Hoosiers in our top 5 list. Number 1. Jesus Shuttlesworth. He got game.
Yeah.
I was really surprised that Hoosiers didn't end up in this. Whatever you think of Hoosiers, universally, anytime you look up basketball movies or sports movies, Gene Hackman's Hoosiers usually ends up in there.
That's because people are hacks and also racist. I've got my own top 5 list, gentlemen. Some of the movies have been named on your list, but a couple haven't. 2 OLIs. OLI number 1, Above the Rim.
Good soundtrack.
OLI number 2, Air. I know it's a commercial. Boom.
Yeah,
but it was
I liked it.
It was a fun commercial. All right, number 5.
That was OLI.
Semi-Pro.
Great one.
If you read Terry Pluto's Loose Balls, it's a book about life in the ABA back then. It is an excellent depiction of that book.
If you see a possum, try to kill it. Not a pet.
Number 4, He Got Game.
Little low.
Number 3, Forget Paris. Love that movie. I love that movie, Adnan. You're not going to say anything bad. Number 2.
Unbelievable.
Number 2, this wasn't on either of you guys' list. Blue Chips.
Yeah. You know what? Nolte, great in that movie.
Nolte was great.
Shaq.
Penny Hardaway. Bobby Knight was actually coaching. And when they told him in this play they got to give up an alley-oop, he refused. They had to talk no, this is a movie. We're not actually playing a basketball game. And number 1, the greatest depiction of basketball ever on screen in a fictional vehicle.
Air Bud.
White Man Can't Jump. That's basketball.
White Man Can't Jump on all 3 lists.
Yep.
Fantastic.
Where the actual
Space Jam anyway.
Where is Space Jam? Thank you, David. Where the is Space Jam?
Jeez. It's a little excessive, Jeremy.
Becoming a tier 1
alpha. Classic.
In the NFL, there is no margin for error. One mistake can change the outcome of a game. Science proves quality sleep can help boost reaction time, recovery time, and overall athletic performance. As the official sleep wellness partner of the NFL, Sleep Number's mission is to provide players with data and insights to optimize their sleep for the ultimate competitive edge. Sleep is essential for recovery, and we all have unique needs. That's why Sleep Number smart beds are perfect for couples, with individualized settings for each side. Since 2018, Sleep Number and the NFL have teamed up to bring quality sleep to elite athletes. 8 out of 10 NFL players, including 80% of Kansas City Chiefs players, trust Sleep Number for their best rest. And now, during Sleep Number's biggest sale of the year, save 50% on the Sleep Number limited edition smart bed, plus special financing for a limited time. Only at a Sleep Number store or sleepnumber.com. Sleep Number, official sleep and wellness partner of the NFL. See store for details.
Dan Le Batard.
Go pee-pee.
Stugotz.
Go pee-pee.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz.
So, we teased this earlier, Jeremy. You have a list of things that happened between when the Phillies won 30 games earlier this season. They were the first team to win 30.
Yep.
And the White Sox, the last horse, crosses the finish line.
Grady Sizemore and the Chicago White Sox.
Yeah, for those who don't know that, that's one of my favorite pieces of trivia now that you could ask anyone who the White Sox manager is, and if you said Grady Sizemore and they didn't know, it would be mind-blowing. But yeah, the Phillies were the first team to win 30 games. They're one of the best teams in baseball. That was May 14th. Mm-hmm. It took until August 16th for the White Sox, who are on pace for the worst season ever. So 94 days in between when the Phillies won and the White Sox won their 30th game. So I tried to compile some things that happened from the time that the Phillies won their 30th game until the White Sox. So, Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese made their WNBA debuts.
Oh, remember that? That was a while ago.
The Cavaliers' season ended.
Damn.
Yeah.
Didn't a lot of NBA seasons end in May?
Well, they played into the playoffs.
Yeah.
So, yes,
Oh, okay.
I was just picking a team that made some sense
Made it
there.
to the second round.
That made it to the second round. Donald Trump became a convicted felon. That happened in the time in between. Yeah. We lost Bill Walton, Jerry West, and Willie Mays.
And Al Addles the other day. Rest in peace.
Will Smith rehabbed his entire image in the Bad Boys Ride or Die press tour.
Did he?
It wasn't even the movie. It was the press tour.
It was the press tour.
Absolutely, he did. Absolutely, he was doing videos with Kev on stage. He was doing videos with everyone, like trying mac and cheese. It was amazing.
It's still odd for me.
Still my word association.
I'm with it.
Kendrick Lamar played Not Like Us 6 times and really ended Drake. His live stream on Juneteenth.
He didn't.
He didn't end the Drake. By the way, Drake last month became the most streaming artist again. He took over the lead. I'm just saying, the numbers don't lie.
There aren't consequences anymore.
Panthers won the Stanley Cup.
Oh, yeah. I remember that, guys.
Someone won the NBA Finals, but I don't remember who.
Congrats on that, by the way. I mean, I know you're a big Panther guy.
That's a huge Panther guy, man. Yeah.
Dan went to and returned on a trip to Africa.
He did, just like Nas and Belly.
And since now the Rockies were the last team to win 30 games before the White Sox, and that was in early July. Jesus. So since the Rockies won 30 games, between then and the White Sox winning, there was an attempted assassination attempt on Donald Trump.
Right.
Joe Biden dropped out of the race. All of Brat Summer happened. The entire Summer Olympics happened. Tim Walz was named Democratic VP nominee.
Also, Skip Bayless ended his tenure at
Tua
Fox.
drawstrings interview.
Wait, is Brad Summer done?
What is that? Can somebody explain that to me? A tier 2 guy explain that to me?
Brat Summer?
Yeah.
Charlie XCX released an album called Brat. There's a whole attitude associated with it.
He did a board about it.
I did a whole thing.
I know, but I wasn't
Just
here.
go back and watch it.
Yeah, go back and watch the clip.
What's the attitude? How am I supposed what's my vibe supposed to be?
You're not a Brad.
Are you supposed to be demure?
You're very demure. You're very
Cutesy?
No,
understand.
cutesy is not.
I'm feeling
how
myself.
I would say. Yeah, you're feeling yourself. You're at the club. You're bumping.
Yeah, you say boom.
Doing bumps?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. If we're being real,
Doing bumps in the club.
Yeah, that's what's happening. So yeah, Brat Summer, it's the best.
Is it done?
Everyone loves
So
it.
nobody can explain.
I mean, it's
Now I
continuing until
totally
the
get
summer's
it.
over.
Now I
but
get
yeah,
it.
it's just party, man. I don't know. I'm not exactly the best representative here.
I love the
But
idea.
you said it. You've said it a million times, Brat Summer.
Yeah, because I know what it is, but you gotta know what it is to know what it is. You know what I mean?
That's why I'm asking you to explain it to me, because you know
Charlie
what it is.
XCX couldn't even really truly explain the definition yourself. You just gotta feel it.
Jeremy, I love the idea that it's like, hey, just party. I'm like, oh, we're going to do that this summer as opposed to what we do every other summer.
Yeah, that's right.
It's like when Justin Timberlake saying, I'm bringing sexy back. Like,
Where'd it go?
No, that
He did bring
that was
sexy
legit though.
no, sexy had one way?
No, it did, and he brought it back. That was legit. Future Sex Love Sounds. That was a banger.
That was a great
It
album.
was a great album.
Such a good album.
And it was a great song, but also
And then sonically, he just stayed there.
it's like Megan Trainor. Megan Trainor said, I'm bringing booty back. I'm like, who the hell are you?
And it's certainly not you.
And where did it go?
I have
always been here.
I'm on the Today Show covered this, and there's an article here that says, while the word brat usually invokes feelings of middle school angst, Brat Summer is all about accepting your imperfections while embracing the chaos.
I would say that
like
brat
how-
is not middle school angst, because brat is more like adults talking about little kids as little
Bratty.
little brats. Like,
Yeah, they're being bratty. But
not-
Michael Jackson once changed the definition of bad. So Charlie XCX can change the definition.
Charlie XCX described the Brat album ethos as, quote, me, my flaws, my F-ups, my ego, all rolled into one.
Shut up.
Okay. Yeah, it's
How about that?
It's fun, man. It's a banger of an album, though.
By the
Really
way,
fun.
Baseball Talk got us here, but later today, there's in our offering, there's going to be some more baseball content, and I've been in heated discussions with our post-production crew. They are not able to turn around graphics. What you're going to hear is a fallacy. I lost a competition
not
that I
quite true.
genuinely won. So there's a game that we play where Taylor pulls out a card, and the cards are from, in this example, the year 2004, and you're supposed to say which team that player was playing on in the year 2004.
Technically,
Did this happen again? Because this happened the last time we played it too, where there was 2 published cards for one player.
Exact same thing happened
It happened to me thrice.
Thrice in the same
Happened to me
competition.
thrice. Twice for points.
Impossible.
And twice it was happening with trades that happened in the winter.
Yeah.
In
That happened to
the
me.
winter.
I don't think there were there winter trades, or were there
There were-
trades
yes.
just pre-deadline?
I'm not going to give it away. There was a winter trade.
I mean, what's the cutoff for making tops cards? I guess we'll have to find that out.
Winter trade.
Either way, I'm pretty sure the question was, what team are they on in the card that is being presented to you?
Now, I say all of that to cover up the tracks because I do kill Sidney Ponson.
Oh.
Yeah, R.I.P.
He's not dead.
You asked the question.
Yeah, I asked it, but I killed him.
You asked it with a little bit of certainty.
No, I did. I
He's
confused
dead,
him with
isn't
Steve Belcher. I confused him with Steve Belcher.
I think he hit us with a, is he still with us?
Is he still with us? No, I think I probably had a little bit more conviction about it.
Stay tuned to find out.
Stay tuned. But when you listen to this, just know there are thrice, twice for points, thrice that it happened, that I'm pretty bang on the money. So just warning you now. It's everything that you're about to hear is just BS.
On today's episode of The Pitch Clock, bullshit for Mike Ryan.
It is. It's BS. Formal protest. And they do that in baseball. So I am issuing a formal protest.
Great.
You have to go like this. You have to do a P.
P?
Yeah, when you do a protest, you stand behind home plate and the umpire does a big P.
I thought that was theatrical. Is that like the protocol? Is that the actual protocol?
I think that's how they let them know, like in the box, that there's the game's being played under protest. It looks like a big P.
Has anything ever come from a protest in any sport?
I think we're still waiting to figure out if that Knicks game is going to have the last play played.
So it would have been really interesting to see in the Ray Allen game. There was an illegal substitution made, like genuinely. There was
I think I remember this.
Yeah, there was an illegal substitution made with regards to, I believe it was Tim Duncan.
Right. Yeah, Tim Duncan was out on the play, and then they subbed him back in.
And the talk was, I think Dan did the reporting on this, that had the Heat lost that game and didn't have this iconic, they would have been in the right
to protest,
to formally protest that. And there was a chance, if you're following letter of the law, maybe in the interest of sport, it's ultimately on the commissioner. The commissioner can decide whatever he wants there. But letter of the law, the Heat would have had every right to formally protest that game. And there were some people that said they actually would have won that protest.
So, like, it's not unheard of. It does happen. It happened in the Olympics, obviously, with Jordan Childs. They protested, they got her a medal, and then they protested again, and they took the medal away, which is really dumb, I think. It's also happened in the NBA. I talked about this before, earlier this season, where the Heat and the Hawks had a game where Shaquille O'Neal fouled out, and it turned out he only had 5 fouls. So they went back and they replayed like the last minute of the game.
I had forgotten about that.
And before they played the next time, they had another game. So they said, we're going to start this game and play the last like 90 seconds of the last game.
Did it change anything?
Yeah, I think the Heat ended up winning. And then they played the next game right afterward, and they lost that game or something like that. But so it does happen. It is rare. But when Billy says they throw up a big P, you know what? I don't know if he's messing with me or not, but I like it. I think it should happen.
What do you mean?
I think it should happen.
It's quite the brand you've carved out for yourself, Billy. That you're trying to be helpful. And people, wait, are you lying?
Because here's the thing. Mike. What other hand gestures we have? We have VAR, which is, oh, look at this big screen here I'm making, right?
Yeah, that's a good one, though.
You think that's a good one?
Yeah, it's become a good one.
Field goal's good. I like field goal's good. I don't like NBA review, replay, like, oh, they twirl their finger like, guys, we got to replay it. Because every play, I love it was like 2 seconds to a game, ball goes out of bounds, and someone like Patrick Beverley's like, replay that, replay. We're not burning a replay on this. Here's another good one. This comes from Aussie Rules Football. You know how they do their field goal good? It's like finger guns. Yeah, man.
Oh, that's a good one.
It's mad cool. I don't know if the video team could look that up.
The video team has done, Chris has informed me in my ear that, hey, we have a clip of you killing Sidney Ponson.
Yeah.
I don't want that clip.
Little teaser clip.
I don't want that clip. I want the clip of me being right three times.
Little taste of what's coming up.
I want the clip of me being correct thrice. That's what I want.
Thrice.
Guys, hit the Ponson clip.
Sidney Ponson.
Oh, come on. I mean, come on. Rest in peace, right?
Ethan, talk to me.
Wow.
He's not dead? I said rest in peace, right?
This be $50.
Wait, Sidney Ponson's still alive?
Yeah, he is.
Sidney Ponson, very
No, yo.
That's fine.
Damn.
Sidney Ponson.
Yeah. Have you Googled Sidney Ponson? Just that.
I just Googled Sidney Ponson, and I'll tell you, I would not have gotten the team that he was with in 2004.
Oh, he's from Aruba. That's where I was confused.
That's where you...
Yeah.
So it was much worse than we thought. He's dead, right?
No, he said R.I.P.
Right?
R.I.P., right?
But no, that right is not doing a whole lot
I see what
of
you
work.
guys are trying to do.
No, you killed him.
Been hungry for some college football? Well, we finally get a taste this weekend. Don't miss any of the action. Jump in with DraftKings Sportsbook. It's a small but mighty slate of games for Week 0, including a big matchup in Ireland. This is going to be DraftKings' biggest college football season to date. Plus, all newbies getting into the college football spirit, here is something extra special. New DraftKings customers bet $5 to get $200 back in bonus bets instantly. Score big with DraftKings all college football season long. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code DAN. That's code DAN for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 and over, plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/ftball.
Don Batard.
I win in the margins. I'm like,
you're Moneyball of sex.
I'm basically Scott Hatteberg.
A lot of
Stugotz.
A lot of walks, but I'm on base.
When it comes to sex,
A
I'm
lot of
Scott
foul
Hatteberg. Other dudes, they can be Giambi.
You know your role. You play well.
I know my role.
This is the Don Batard Show with the Stugotz.
I have 15 examples of protested games in Major League Baseball that were then resumed in the history of baseball up to 2019.
Behind home plate?
I don't have info on that yet. I do know that 8 of those 15 games, the team that protested did go on to win. And most famously, it was the George Brett Pine Tar game, where the Royals had protested in the top of the ninth. They were down 4-3. They ended up winning 5-4. The last one, I believe, was in 2014. It was the Giants and the Cubs, and this was because of a rain delay where the Cubs field crew couldn't get the tarp on in time, so they ended up finishing the game later.
I am genuinely sorry that live and in the moment, 22 years after the fact, I confused one Orioles pitcher for another in Steve Belcher. That was my mistake. But I'm man enough to admit my mistakes. Taylor, Jeremy, Chris, you can be man enough to admit yours, and that I was correct thrice.
I can't be man enough. I'm tier 2.
That's a good point.
I love how you use Aruba as the reason. Oh, Aruba, that's why.
I mean, that's just me doing bit. Listen, I appreciate the banner. I do want to talk about football real quick, guys.
More football.
Actual sports. So last year when the Chiefs won, I think it crossed everybody's mind like, damn, if you're not going to get the Chiefs that year. I mean, they lost at home to the Raiders. Their offense was struggling. They didn't have any wide receiver help. If you're not going to get the Chiefs last year, are you ever going to get them as long as this core is around? And I thought long and hard. And I thought for a while, yeah, I think that this is a run and they're the weird, lovable dynasty. But then, yesterday, I was reminded there was someone that was able to stop them at the height of their powers. Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals went into Arrowhead. They beat them. Now, Joe Burrow has a lot of questions to answer about his health. For whatever reason, it doesn't really stick to him as much. When you talk about fragile quarterbacks, he's not really invoked all that often. I'm not sure why. People talk more about Tua. If you stack up the injuries, Joe Burrow is right there. I understand you have the neurological stuff going on and the concussions with Tua where you genuinely think he's one hit away. Everybody's a hit away. But I think that Burrow and the Bengals have proven against more superior offense from Kansas City that they can do it. And I actually think they will. I think people are really sleeping on the Cincinnati Bengals, provided, of course, Joe Burrow can stay healthy.
I think the thing that people think of is the catastrophic and the severity of the hip injury for Tua. So I think they associate that with that was a way worse injury because Burrow's had a knee injury where he tore his ACL. That's pretty commonplace in the NFL. He has a wrist injury for a quarterback. I mean, you fall the wrong way, something happens. Like it's kind of things that
thumb last year. Keep in mind, last year when he went out, Bengals were kind of grooving. Like they were
Browning and them boys.
Yeah, they were. Well, Browning actually played well, but I kind of got the vibes that the Bengals are going to do this again to the Chiefs, and he gets hurt. I think that in the NFL right now, Patrick Mahomes. You want to talk about tier 1 guys? He's the only guy that came close in terms of skill is Aaron Rodgers. in terms of what they are able to do throwing the football. Tom Brady is the greatest quarterback of all time. Tom Brady was never, when it came to physical attributes, the best in the league at anything.
Well, Tom Brady is the greatest quarterback of all time in the NFL. I just want to make that clear. There are other forms of football out there where he's not.
Well, I do want to play that video momentarily, but what I'm saying is, like, Tom Brady found a way to be the greatest ever without ever in any of his eras being physically the best at anything. It was all intangibles with him. Joe Burrow is a lot like Tom Brady. He's the closest comp that I have in that he's not top of the line at anything in the NFL. But if it's a game, we all know that dude's a gamer. And he can win it. He can beat Patrick Mahomes on Patrick Mahomes' best day. So provided that he stays healthy, that's a team that I trust the most inside that conference.
But their defenses have gone in different directions the last couple of years. In 2022, the Bengals had an elite defense. Last year, they took a step back. The Chiefs' defense was one of the best in the league last year. So I think that the question mark for the Bengals is the defense.
Yeah, and the owner spending money. And they've lost pieces. I noticed the other day, Tyler Boyd, not there anymore.
He's a Titan.
Yeah, he's a Titan. And Higgins is, I believe Higgins got franchised, right? So this is probably, they have an owner, famously, does not like to spend money. Did spend it on Joe Burrow. But as long as that dude's under center and healthy, it's kind of like a Tom Brady thing for me. And this is going back years now with Joe Burrow, dating back to college. I trust that guy. He showed you. Again, against a more superior team than the eventual Super Bowl champion that we saw last year with Kansas City. He goes in there, he wins big games.
I will say this, though. Jamar Chase is in a bit of a contract dispute with the owner, and the owner says, hey, I think Mike Brown is the owner, right?
Yeah, they lost Joe Mixon.
They lost Mixon, but they said, I'm not paying somebody before your time is up. Like, you're going to play out the entirety of this contract, and then we'll talk about a contract negotiation. Chase still at camp, but kind of in a hold-in, not really doing anything. We've never seen, think about this for a second, guys. We've never seen Joe Burrow do it without guys like Chase, Justin Jefferson, T. Higgins, right? The thing with Brady was you could throw Wes Welker, who was 5'8", and he would make him a 1,500-yard receiver. You could throw Deion Branch out there, and he can make him somebody who's a legitimate wide receiver one. We've never really seen Joe Burrow do it without monster talent across the outside.
That's certainly a great point. We never saw Brady become prolific until he had those guys. He became an all-time great and not a game manager the second that he got Randy Moss.
But look at exactly, but he had him for 14 seconds.
Yeah, but he had Gronk, which is the greatest tight end of all time. He had his weapon.
The real question is, what is Joe Burrow saying with this new hair look? Like, what's the message he's trying to convey to
Brett
us?
Summer.
He was asked yesterday. He does look like Ken there. Oh, who's going to the Barbie game today? Baseball. There's a Barbie giveaway.
He looks like Cody Rhodes.
It does. Looks really cool, the Barbie
He does,
jersey.
right?
Tier 2 guy.
I really want it.
Billy, are you going to the Barbie game?
No.
That's why you're a Tier 1 guy.
They're also having a Swiftie DJ after one of the games, and I think a week or so they're having a Taylor Swift themed post.
Have you seen the lookalike that she performs little concerts and she just looks just like Taylor and plays all the songs?
It's very weird.
It's just
I kind of want to do that for Amos. I'm on an algo. Amin knows about my algos, but I'm on an impressionist algo right now. There is like a really good fake Eminem out there across the pond. I essentially just want to, for the next Moss Miami, hire a bunch of fake pop stars.
Can we get fake Drake?
I want to get fake Drake.
He's around here somewhere. He's amazing.
Dan Batard.
Sub 500 seasons, it's been lonely. Now the best players on our side. Been losing and losing for much too long. But now we're back with New York pride.
Stugotz.
Jalen, you've got us on our feet. Jalen, we're gonna win the East. Jalen, without Randall, we're still doing fine.
This is the Dan Batard Show with the Stugotz.
As we mentioned, college football is here. College GameDay is here. Your Saturday traditions are back. Super excited. Great sports weekend. Huge sports weekend. Motorsports too. We get Daytona under the lights. But Sheamus, I believe, has been announced. The WWE star has been announced as the special GameDay picker. He's from Ireland. GameDay's in Dublin. Makes perfect sense, especially with McAfee over there. But we always kind of theorize who would make. You mentioned AJ and Big Justice. They'd be great for GameDay.
Guys, they would I'm as big a fan of them as anyone. They don't fit. They don't fit.
How? How do they not fit?
They're perfect.
When have they ever just done like the internet person?
They put Stugotz on the show.
Stugotz was like the fourth guy in the depth chart because The Rock canceled.
Exactly.
Dan canceled.
They're here at UM, guys.
Yeah, they were.
That was a break glass in an emergency. Okay, everyone keeps holding up Stugotz. I'm just like,
that's the standard.
They don't go for like internet joke. They're going for like A-list celebrities.
Man, do you remember when Mark Harmon was on there? It was just painfully awkward. Mark Harmon was probably the worst celebrity that they ever had. But Jeremy's put together, he's curated a list of people that he anticipates might be in the mix for Game Day Picker of the Week.
Yeah, this is a combo of either people that I would like to see and or people that I think make sense given what teams could have a college game day as well. So this really came up because of my number 5 here, a player who just recently retired, who could end up being a really good TV personality. Number 5, Joey Votto.
He's Canadian, though. What's the tie-in?
Well, he played for the Cincinnati Reds, so anything in Ohio could end up being good. They could have him at Ohio State. They could have him at a Cincinnati Bearcats game. They're in the Big 12. You never know what could happen there.
We neglected yesterday to inform the audience. We said he's retiring. We didn't talk about the tweet he had, which is he tweeted about riding in the Uber on the way to the ballpark, and the driver asking him, "Are you a ball player?" And Joey said, "No."
That's so great.
It used to be. It used to be.
You guys just ruined my number 4, so I'll get to it. AJ and Big Justice.
Great.
I'll bet anyone $100 they don't.
I'll take that.
Right. Number 3, he's now doing country music, so it makes sense to do College Game Day. Post Malone.
Post Malone.
That one I can see.
What if they're on College Game Day in another capacity?
See, no, I could
like Jelly Roll is absolutely going to be a game day picker, but he's also doing the song.
I could see them incorporating AJ and Big Justice into
But
game
what
day
is this
somewhere.
bet?
The bet is that
I'm saying they'll
just shook his hand.
picker.
They're going to be on Saturdays at some point.
Our bet is that they will be they will not be the picker.
See,
they might be if Miami is good this year.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, like they could.
If Miami gets a game.
Our bet is picker.
Picker.
All right. Number 2, former high school football coach, current vice presidential nominee for the Democrats, Tim Walz.
They are not doing that.
He will try to do it.
Nope.
Republicans watch Game Day too.
Nope.
Yeah.
What game?
And
what
number
game?
1,
Maybe they'll have Waltz
Minnesota?
and Vance. Maybe Vance and Waltz together.
They have to offer the same amount of time.
They'll offer
ESPN.
it. I'm just letting you know.
They're
And
not
number
doing
1, if and when Georgia hosts a game, Anthony Edwards.
That's a good one.
Early on in the season, before the NBA starts, Anthony Edwards is so good at TV. Went to Georgia. Feel like it's a good tie-in.
Camp reports at the end of September, so he's got
That's a good one.
First couple of weeks?
I could see that one.
Georgia, best team in the country.
Post Malone is the one I would. Of all those, that's the favorite. That's
for
gonna happen.
sure going to happen.
He's probably done it.
His dad.
He was the song last year.
I'm so old that I thought Anthony Edwards from ER. He hasn't done anything in ages.
Stugotz here for my friends over at Simply Safe. If you're like me, you're constantly thinking about the safety of the people and things you value most. After a friend told me about a break-in in his home in which many of his most valuable possessions were stolen, I knew I needed to secure my home with the best. I've trusted Simply Safe to protect my home for 6 years now, and the level of security and customer care has been incredible. I sleep better every night knowing Simply Safe's 24/7 monitoring agents are standing by to protect me and my home. They'll also send emergency help when I need it most. I want you to have the same peace of mind that I and so many listeners experience every day, which is why I partnered with Simply Safe to offer listeners 20% off a system. Just visit simplysafe.com/DLB. What I love most is that Simply Safe just keeps getting better. Protect your home this summer with 20% off any new Simply Safe system when you sign up for Fast Protect monitoring. Just visit simplysafe.com/DLB. That's simplysafe.com/DLB. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
I just had a few drinks. I'm only driving home. I've done this before. I'll be fine. Right?
Driving high or drunk is a selfish choice that puts all of us at risk. Plan for a sober ride, rideshare, or metro. DC police are arresting impaired drivers, so drive sober or get pulled over. A message from the DC Highway Safety Office, Metropolitan Police Department Chief Pamela A. Smith, and everyone you'll save by driving sober.